minutes, claim docket, and consent items. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, claim docket, and the consent items.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Will, second by Mr. Stock to approve the consent items. Any discussion, questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next is the patron concern, and we have Jay signed up for patron concerns.
I don't have any concerns, I just came in case people had questions,
Mm-hmm.
so.
So we'll get to that part of the new business here in a second. If you want to say something at that point in time, feel free.
Under new business, first item, Dr. Kent and Dr. Streeter and Wayland, who was here, just left, but we're recommending to enter into an Adidas team agreement beginning July 1st, 2017 with Pearson's, Embroidery Direct, what's all the, there's a bunch of names there. It's a 5-year agreement, and basically with some benefits for the school corporation and staff and coaches and students, and we will wear such as footwear, apparel, and all the accessories, and we would like to enter into that promotional contract with Adidas and Embroidery Direct. And Scott's going to talk a little, just say a few things about it.
We think it's a great idea. We're very thankful to Jay and Jamie for the opportunity to be able to, to enter into this agreement. Ultimately, it gives us the ability to be able to get all of our athletic teams in the same uniform and an opportunity to make sure that we're just have more funds that are accessible to get our kids in some newer uniforms in a quicker amount of time.
And I want to thank Jay for all his help and leadership in helping put that contract together with Adidas. I don't know how much you had to do with Adidas on the side to do that, but for them to come out and be able to offer us a nice contract like that. And if you've got anything to say about it, go.
Well, I wanted to say, I think it's a really good deal for the school. Adidas is trying to have a bigger presence in Southern Indiana, and we became an Adidas dealer about 5 years ago, and they asked us to get out and look for opportunities to showcase their brand, and they asked us to go to some different places in Southern Indiana, and we recommended North Posey. These talks were going on for about a year, and so it's a great opportunity for the school. Not everybody's getting the kind of deal that North Posey's getting. And like I said, it's a great opportunity for our company. We kind of changed the team division's name to Superior Team. And Adidas doesn't have a single all-school deal in Southern Indiana. They have them up north in Central Indiana. This will be their first one down south, and they want to get the name out there. And we are the Southern Indiana dealer down here. And that's great for us. But it's a really good deal for the school. So you can check prices all you want, and Adidas came in, they want the deal, so hopefully it's mutually beneficial for everybody.
Can we lock them up for 10 years with that deal?
Well, we could probably do that. They're very loyal. When we called our Adidas rep, Jim Watkins, he's in Nashville, and he just got back from the Final Four and said, hey, North Posey wants to talk. Jim came up the next week, so a lot of universities, a lot of big school accounts, and he came right up. So
I'm asking the board to approve the contract that Adidas has presented us for the with Superior Team Apparel.
yeah, that's us.
And we move forward with that for the 5-year deal that they have described.
Vote for a motion.
No motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Gentile, seconded by Mr. Oakley. Do we have any questions or comments?
Yep. First, thanks, Jay, for you guys, and you and your company taking the initiative to help the schools out. I know you guys are doing a lot for that. So with this being a high school, I think it's important that we make sure that the stakeholders below junior high, grade school, maybe even youth club sports get to try to, if they can take advantage of it, direct them to take advantage of it. Some of those need more guidance than others, but I think the more uniformed we look when we go places, the better we are.
Great. I
Thank you.
have one concern. I talked to Coach Shank about it earlier in the week. As far as if someone's having a hard time being able to afford the new stuff, if it would be a big deal if they went out and bought secondhand. And he said that wouldn't violate the contract if they couldn't afford to buy the Adidas brand.
I mean, you're talking about a member of a
Just
team.
one particular member of a team, if they went out on their own.
I would think that either through the sports organizations or through us, I mean, if a kid can't afford their uniform, I mean, most of these are gonna be fundraised as part of a team that either, you know, we'll do something or I mean, it's gonna be part of a team purchase, so I'm not sure we would get into that, because you do want if you have a soccer team, the individuals aren't buying the uniform. So, I mean, it's gonna be either the school or the booster organization who's kicking in on that. I mean, my kids have been involved in scouting at many levels, and we have sponsors. If we have a kid who can't afford anything, we have people who provide what we'll call a scholarship. If they need $200 hiking boots to go out to New Mexico and hike at a high adventure base, their sponsor will write the check. Some kids may have multiple sponsors. If they need $300 to go to summer camp, the sponsor takes care of it. So there may be a mechanism that the school could set up to take care of that. I mean, I don't think you're gonna run into that.
I didn't think so either after talking to him. It sounds like a great deal. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that.
I think it's a great deal, and our community, our school needs to present a professional brand. When we go and we play teams in sectionals or regular season, we need to go and have a one brand, one NP, one Viking, and we need to go there and people need to say North Posey's here. We can't show up and kind of look haphazard, and you know, that's kind of how things were in the past. But maybe it's time to present a professional image when we get out. That'll take time, but this could be a good first step, one of the first steps that the school, you know, needs to take.
I like the brand idea. I mean, we had been talking about branding North Posey for a while with certain images and certain things, and I think with what we're doing, that will be a good first step of getting that done.
It's a part. It's definitely a part. But if you look at our neighboring schools and schools we compete against in the PAC, some of the schools have nice branding, good, you know, good visual imagery. So I think it's really important that if we want people to move to the community and come to the school, they need to be invested, and everybody wants to be a part of something. So, and you know, I think in the case that Vince is talking about, that I don't think that some kid's gonna go, oh, I can't play soccer because I can't come up with $90. I'll write the check. I don't think you're gonna have that.
I think the biggest thing that we figure out some way of getting the message out. I think the only thing we could probably come across that would be an argument of it, like if somebody is an 8th grader now and they go out and buy Under Armour undershirt for soccer and cleats and socks, and then their argument's going to be, well, I've already spent all that money, and now you say you're going to be Adidas, my kid's going to look all out of place. Well, at least if we get the word out, we are going Adidas, and that we'll have team packs.
Right.
So, you know, at least do something where we've said, hey, we've tried to get the word out.
Right,
That'd be
and
about the
that'll
only
take
thing.
time. It's the first year, and if some Under Armour cleats, that's fine, wear them and all that. I think the important thing from the Adidas's point of view is if you go out and win a big game and the coach is on channel 25 and they will check and they're wearing Under Armour, that's gonna be not good.
You're
so
gonna get a
they-
phone call?
I'm gonna get a phone call, so, I don't wanna get the phone call, so, and they need to be flying the Adidas flag and with Viking and Adidas and it all will be good, so.
Yeah.
One of the things that Jay sold to us was that, I mean, everything the school is providing with the uniform is going to be Adidas, and then it'll take a few years to, transition, because every football player is, not gonna be in Adidas cleats this year.
No.
Right.
Just because it's the first year. Our basketball is going to be a Nike this year because their cycle's not ready to switch over. And, I think after the first year, we'll see what we need to do and where it needs to be improved, and we'll go from there. But the school provided uniform will be Adidas.
I like it.
I do too.
Well, thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity, we appreciate it.
you.
So, all those in favor of accepting the agreement with Adidas and Superior Team Apparel,
Yeah.
say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
I'm asking the board to approve the next contract with Vantive. In the past, we have not had any ability ever to take credit cards. If you look on the screen, just example, a textbook rental payment, textbook rental $243. There'll be a transaction fee. The parent will see that they owe $245. Basically, if you look over there to the right, that's going to be the corp view. And those are the fees, the 4%, the 10 cents, and the credit card fee of 75 cents. Those are the things that we have to pay. Though, obviously, the larger the charge, the 4% changes. So, but we've been advised that the $2 fee will cover what we need to have it covered and not make any money. And State Board of Accounts doesn't want us to make any money. We've also been advised if it does appear that we're making money, then they will give us, we'll reduce the fee to $1.75. So we have time to get that. And there's the same caption down there for the lunch program. If somebody puts in $100 in the lunch program, kind of basically that's how that will work out. So I envision this working like if you go online to buy something or pay one of your bills, you'll go in, you'll set up an account, you'll go in, and if you set up the lunch account, you can just drop money in anytime you want. And if your credit card gets hacked or something from somebody else or something that you have to go in and change that to keep the account active, your credit card number active. I mean, I've had to do that with different things that I have online. So I mean, I think it's a good idea and a good way to do it. We are not taking credit cards in-house and swiping them or with the chip plugging them in. It is all online service. So asking the board to approve the new Vantive credit card option for parents.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-year contract with Vantive, or year-to-year contract with Vantive.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Oakley, seconded by Ms. Will. Any comments or questions, discussion?
The only thing I had is, I know it says that we can't accurately project what the fees may end up being to the corporation, and we don't want to make money. Well, I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna be looking at that to make sure that the $2 fee was enough for that year, and, I mean, the goal is to reduce it, but if we have to, we can increase it.
Yeah. And the reason they suggested $2 is so they hope that we don't have to raise it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that you can do multiple students on one transaction. No. I'll still be writing checks then.
From a banker, or you want me to give you the breakdown of what a
Not
check
really.
costs you?
No.
Okay. All right.
All right. So all those in favor of motion, say aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Asking the board to approve a 5-year contract with E&A for Category 1 services for our internet. We are currently at 100 megabytes of bandwidth, and with this contract, we can increase to 500 megabytes of bandwidth. And because of where we're at and paying for our infrastructure and the fiber, we currently are paying for annually $18,336. If we sign the 5-year deal with E&A and we go from 100 to 500 megabytes, we can drop our current pay to $14,880, which is $3,456 less. So we will have an annual savings of $3,400. So, and looking at those, 3-year and 5-year, I just think we need to go to the 500 megabytes and the 5-year contract and take that savings. E&A has the state contract. They're more at risk than we are, and so we currently go through them for Category 1 services, and I just think that we need to make that change. We are filing this summer for, I think it's 1,000, or it's called, is that a terabyte? That's something. That's another
1,000
name.
gigabyte.
It's something else. Terabyte.
Tera.
Yeah. So we are filing. So when we go 1-to-1, that's probably what we're going to need. So this ramps us up there and covers what we need until. And this doesn't stop us from going higher. We can go higher next year if we want to, so it has no bearing on that.
We're looking for a motion to approve.
Since we're amending this, do you want to give them the opportunity to keep the same? Oh, no.
This is
different,
this is
sorry.
different.
I got ahead of you.
This is
That's the
Category
next
1.
I'm ahead of you, sorry.
Yep. So,
I'll make a motion, how's that?
that'll work. A second.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Gentile, seconded by Mr. Stock. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next, we're going with E&A. We filed for Category 2 services, and you approved this last month to go forward with the project to ramp up our Wi-Fi throughout the entire district with new APs, new switches, and new wiring. I'm glad that we're moving forward. This is the first phase of 2 infrastructure things that we have to complete to be able to function with 1-to-1 for our students. And because we're dealing with the federal government, we're dealing with about 5 different entities, there was some mistakes that I had presented to you in the previous meeting. So I would like to amend the April minutes where Dr. Wanamaker presented the results of the bid opening for a proposal to spend $115,665.40 for the first year cost and $11,388 for the second and third year cost, or for the second year cost. I would like to update that to read that we want to an estimated cost of $144,716 for the first year total, and then $26,940 for the second and third year total for the managed service. And the reason I'm saying estimated for the first year is it might be $1, a little bit of a change, just for the mere fact we don't know when they're going to complete the project, and we don't know exactly when the federal government is going to release the Category 2 funding. So during that period of time, to be able to move forward, we'll have to pay a small amount of interest. And I don't know for sure if the interest will hit in, and how much it will be. So, it's not a drastic change, but there would be a small change there. So I'm asking for the board to approve those costs for the first year and the second and third year for the managed services, and make the amendment to the April minutes.
So, Brad, are you good with the amendment?
Yes.
You made the motion the first time, and Vince the second.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Stock, seconded by Mr. Oakley to amend the agreement with E&A for managed services. Do we have any discussion?
It is a 3-year agreement, and it is for category 2 services, which we've never applied for that money before ever.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Next on the agenda is the wellness policy. A committee was created in regards for the, by Indiana code. Basically, we've had a wellness committee before the state passed that you had to have a wellness committee. Our wellness committee is basically our insurance committee. And so we had to create a wellness committee. So now I'm gonna have to go back and take our old wellness committee and change it to the insurance committee. Because, we were doing wellness activities and that sort of thing. That's why we call it that. But this is the true prescribed wellness committee by the state of Indiana, which the cafeteria director is on there, several administrators are on there, several teachers are on there, and they've come up with a policy that, by the way, that the state is using now as a sample policy for the rest of the state to be able to use. So they did a great job putting that together. I just want you to read that and be prepared to discuss and approve in the next board meeting with us. Next on the list, principal's request to approve their student handbooks. They have presented their student handbooks and asking the board to approve the changes in the student handbooks, and each one highlighted the changes, differently, but had time to look at that and change the handbooks.
Looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the handbook.
And a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Will, seconded by Mr. Oakley. Do we have any discussion on that? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Asking the board to approve the personnel requests for next year for each building. Each principal has submitted their personnel request, and we've highlighted people that are in, possibly question, or we've tried to leave open the things that we know that are absolutely open. So if you have any questions about that, I can try to answer those at this time. But basically, at this time, we've told the principals that we would look at every open position and determine whether we would fill it. We, with the budget the way it is, we can't just take things lightly, and we have to determine whether we're going to fill a position that is open. We did not mandate any cuts, but we're not okaying any expansions at this point. So, but we are taking a hard look at every position before we say that we're going to fill the open position.
So if we approve these tonight, just because it says open, doesn't mean it's gonna be listed.
Yeah, if it's open, we have posted it, and we have looked at each position to determine whether or not we're going to fill it. Right now, I do not plan on making any cuts. The only positions that there's 2 positions I'm looking at that I'm worried about, and really it's our science. There are no USI graduates in science, which means that those positions, we may not be able to fill them because we might not be able to get a candidate. So we'll have to see what we can do. Our goal would be to save money in filling them, but also fill them. But Natalie McCauley's positions are going to be extremely difficult to fill, because we're not going to find anybody that has the project lead the way training. I mean, if we do, it's going to be a rarity. Chemistry, the higher level science, it's going to be very difficult to fill. And what's happening out there in the world now, people are jumping around because there's more money to be made if you jump around now. So, I mean, we might have somebody want to jump and come and get a pay raise coming here because they're not locked to the lockdown that they did in 2012. So that's going to be difficult. The only other one that is in question really is North Elementary, the structure of that opening there underneath
office.
Julie Gentile. Not that we're not going to fill it. I mean, that you almost have to fill that, but we might not fill it in the same capacity. So those are the only two that we're looking at right now. There's several other possibilities of people that have indicated that they might take another job or move on or something, and we'll take a hard look at those as well.
But everything that's listed as open, we have or are currently posting for those.
If not, they'll be posted tomorrow
Other than this one.
after the night,
Okay.
because you had to approve some resignations tonight
Right.
to be able to post some things.
What if they were just yellow, but they don't say?
They were just like things in our meetings we talked about. Probably should have not left them yellow.
Okay.
There's nothing
Sounds okay.
nothing about that. It's just we highlighted stuff as we were talking, and we didn't get them unhighlighted. I do that sometimes so that I know that I've talked about each employee.
Like this one here, it's highlighted because you just approved that
Right.
move.
Yeah.
So they left that highlighted because it was a move for tonight.
So
that's an example.
if we know of for instance, a science teacher that's interested, even if they don't have the Project Lead the Way designation, we'd still be interested in interviewing them.
Yes,
Or considering them.
we'd consider them. We just got to figure out how we're going to continue the project Lead the Way.
The
we all-
posting actually didn't even have the Project Lead the Way tied to it. We just
Yeah,
posted.
we
it.
didn't. We didn't tie project Lead the Way.
Okay, and that's what I was wanting to
Yeah.
make sure, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that project Lead the Way is very difficult to maintain.
So what are we gonna do for all the kids, like, so we have one Project Lead the Way teacher left, right? So will she continue the Project Lead the Way?
She was capable of teaching 2 classes. Natalie was
Oh.
capable of teaching 2 classes. Natalie, I think this coming year, was only gonna need to teach one of those 2 classes. So, but there was enough people in it to have more than one section. So, I mean, right now, those kids don't have a class because we don't have a teacher that can teach it. And we're checking to see if, kind of like in speech, if a person doesn't have all the requirements, but then you have a teacher that does have some of them, then they can supervise. We're checking to see if we can hire a teacher and then they be supervised for 1 year and then they can get the training. We're hoping that we can do that. If we can't do that, then we'll have nobody to teach those classes. The other thought was to take the current teacher we have, send them to get the training, and then revamp the schedule, and that person be tied to those Project Lead the Way.
Would this impact those kids for a degree or anything like that, or some kind of credit?
I was curious
Or
about that, she's like, I mean, Hannah being an example, she's had 3 years of Project Lead the Way classes, will she not get her, I mean, is there like a certification for that, or is there a?
Well,
What
if
is
you
that?
have all 4 classes, it gives you a leg up when you go to school, college.
I mean, it's not, I just don't want to I don't want to have a situation where I know it's out of our control, it's something that but come a week before school start and we say we can't have Project Lead the Way or whatever it is, and then these
Well,
kids are scrambling because they needed something for applying for a school or whatever. And
We are gonna do everything we can not to do that, but I can't guarantee you that won't happen. I mean, it's just the way it is. I would feel a lot more confident if we had 100 graduates at USI that were graduating in science, but there were 0. And so I remember when when you have these science jobs open, and people aren't beating down the doors anywhere. There's just not that many people that go, because if you go into science, you're gonna go into a more lucrative field.
is there any
I mean, just like Chem 2, I mean, like, that's a pretty advanced,
Mhm.
so our seniors that will need Chem 2 next year, you're saying we may not offer it.
Well, no, we're gonna do everything in our power to humanly offer everything that we offer now. Now, what the structure is gonna be, I don't know. But there is a chance that we can't find a teacher to do it.
Our existing teachers can teach Chem 2 though, for that example.
You have to have a chemistry license.
But most of ours, I think, have the multiple license.
I mean, it's just,
We need to find a science teacher.
we have, yeah, we
I mean, not
have.
that
We have other electives in the science program that if worse comes to worse, we can delete and create some sections of others.
Are these classes offered online in like the virtual type of deal? I'm not saying that's the best situation, but worst case scenario,
Through Purdue
they could
or-
still get the class if they needed it.
Some of the science classes might. The project lead the way, I mean, the biomed classes will not be.
So, I mean, maybe that's something we need to explore, is like a worst case scenario type of a deal, so they can still have it if they needed it.
Does the tech center offer them?
Yeah.
So that we don't
The tech
jeopardize
center
somebody.
offers project lead the way, but you have to be able to give up half your day to go over there. Some of our students, well, might be able to go over there their senior year and get that last class, depending on what their schedule looks like. I can't, I mean, that's an option as well. You know, I feel pretty confident that we'll be able to find somebody,
Okay.
but I can't guarantee it. It's not, it won't be because Scott and Aaron aren't,
Aren't trying.
because they're beating the bushes now.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So I'm asking the board to approve the personnel request by the principals.
I'll make a motion.
second.
Second that.
Motion by Mr. Gentile, seconded by Mr. Stock to approve the personnel requests. Any other discussion? I think we had enough.
I did call Wharton County and say, hey, if y'all need another science teacher, go east.
Yeah. Go the other
Phil
direction.
Schneider is not
Is
getting a
Schillinger-
Christmas card this year.
Is Schillinger going
Yeah,
there too?
yeah, they're both going there.
So, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Um,
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Asking the board to approve the professional leave as listed. Got the 4Cs conference that we've had, I think this is the third year running, and then we have a group of people going up to see Canvas, and that is our new program that we're using to bring all of the tools together for the teachers to help make it easier for them as we go one-to-one. And then also, I'm going to scratch the Amanda Caudill request. That is no longer in the request. She will not be going to that. And then Nancy Dugan request to take all food service to Huntingburg, and she has to do this as a requirement by the state.
Looking for a motion to approve the professional leave request as listed.
I'll make a motion to approve the professional leave request.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Oakley, seconded by Mr. Gentile. Any discussion?
Did they officially release that Obama lunch deal, or is that still in place?
No, it's still in place.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think there's been any changes to the food service requirements. In the wellness program, if you notice, they took away cupcakes on birthdays.
It's-
Non-healthy, you cannot bring a single non-healthy snack. As defined by the Smart Snack, which is pretty... That's a topic of discussion in my household. I'll put it that way.
It would be mine too. I had kids.
So,
I'm on that committee, so. It's rough.
Well, why didn't you present that? Next we have,
Oh,
Oh,
we did not vote.
oh, we didn't vote.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
So, motion made, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I won't spend a lot of time on this, but we have the legislative session's over. And if you look down at the bottom, we'll scroll that up a little further, yeah. 2017, $13.99. We actually got $13.89 now, but our total is, that number's not exactly correct, but 8,960,000. I can tell you we had 8,900,000 and some odd thousand back in 2010, so our money stays the same. And then next year,
They give us more every year.
yeah, they give us more every
They
year.
take it away.
Yeah, but, well, what happens is if you go into the complexity or the foundation, or if you look at complexity, it's about $100,000. They raise foundation, but they lower other things. And then you used to have small and rural schools. You used to have other categorical grants that they've just totally eliminated. And so that's what happens is they are able to say, hey, we're giving the schools X amount of $1 billion and they're going to get a 1.7% increase. And they do that to the foundation, which is the top category line, but then they drop other things, and so you end up with the same. But the thing that kills us is this number and then this number. That's the number of students we're projected to lose next year. Now, I do have some good news that they did kindergarten roundup, and so I had to put that number in before kindergarten roundup. And basically what I did is, there's no way to get a number for kindergarten, really. You can call around and see how many there are, how many we have in our kindergarten school here, and you can get an estimate. But if you look at our past history, we're always around 100. So what I did is I graduated the seniors and I added 100 kids, and that drops us to that. Kindergarten roundup, we are at 110 or 112.
Already.
So that number isn't quite so bad, So with every student that we get above 1365, it means $5,200 more. So in the foundation, and I mean it could change the complexity and all that. It depends on the demographics of those students. But so anyway. We're getting $10,000 more, in bargaining. We'll give the teacher 66 2/3%, and they'll get $6,000. I mean, that's kind of how that works.
Mhm.
So, but we're going to have a better number than that. I feel pretty confident. So, I really do feel a lot. I was singing the blues, thinking, "Oh no, we're in trouble." But I like the kindergarten class, and it is growing.
Mhm.
So we're not going to be as bad a shape as that looks. So that's kind of that budget funding. And they did give us 1.6 and 1.7%. If you look in the third year, they're showing us if we kept 1365, we'd be over 9 million. And that would be the first year we've been over 9 million in a long, I don't know that we've ever been over 9 million. So, at 9 million, we're pretty solid. So I feel pretty good about that. Anyway, I think the funding formula goes to 5,200, 5,273, and then it goes to 5,352 in the second year. And then they made changes through here. Some of them help us, some of them hurt us. The next bill that I was looking at is the changing of the budget process. The budget process, House Bill 109, it eliminates the general fund. It combines the CPF, which is what we do all our construction out of it, and transportation and bus replacement. It combines all of them. And that will make it simpler because we can interchange the money within that fund then versus we can't now. There are some things where they're still hashing out whether this goes out of the education fund, this goes out of the operation fund. Case in point, they're arguing over coaches now. You know, right now, coaches are paid out of the general fund. But they're saying that's not an educational expense, it probably needs to go out of the operation fund, not the education fund. So, ISB, the ASBO is arguing, no, they're teachers, they're teaching out there, that belongs in the education fund. So, I don't, and then there's like, our custodians, they're out of the general fund now. Are they operation fund or are they general fund? So they gotta fix a lot of that yet in that.
But they did fix the one ADM count?
Yeah, we have one ADM count next year, which that helps a lot.
That helps us out a lot.
Well, it helps a lot, because you generally we have more students in the fall than we do in the spring because of midterm graduation. So we will keep that same money all year instead of it changing.
That is huge, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
And it only makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, our money we lost, 12 kids due to graduation at Christmas, and that's
For doing a good job.
$5,100 a kid this year. So, I mean,
Yeah, for doing a good job getting them
yeah.
through their degrees.
For 6 months, we lost that amount of money. So, I mean, it hurt us. So, and they did go back and fix that. And IASBO is working hard with them on this bill. And this bill potentially won't hurt us at all and make things, I have all those numbers in my head, what each fund has. I'll have to learn all that. But other than that, it'd probably be more of a headache for me and Carol than it will be anybody. So.
Don't you love that, though, like the levies for the operation fund? For 6 years for non-farm income AV, for like.
That's how they do it every year now.
I know, but I mean,
It was 3.8% last year. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's been that way forever.
I don't understand that. I mean,
And the next thing on the list is the Fletchell property. We did do an amendment to the original buy. They did accept the amendment. We offered them $60,000, and then they'll pay their own taxes, and then we have a donor paying for the fees. So it appraised at $60,000, and that's all we're going to spend. So the original offer was $79,900, I think, and it appraised for $60,000. They accepted $60,000. We close on the 15th of May, and they have possession till the end of May, and then we'll take possession of that property. The town said that if we didn't care, they would immediately start cleaning it up for us. So get that property cleaned up.
You all remember that our offer was subject to being appraised.
mm-hmm.
And it was represented to you that we could not pay more than the appraised value. So appraised value, as Dr. Campbell said, was $60,000. So the other party wasn't bound to accept it, but they did, the $60,000. So that's a substantial savings to us. That was our intention all along. So the school will pay only $60,000. The town will continue to honor all of its representations towards tearing the house down in preparations. So we'll close a week from today.
Next board meeting is Monday, June 12th. Executive session's 5:30, regular meeting's at 6:30. We canceled the South Terrace because Kelly and several teachers, and they're all in Indy doing the tour of the schools to determine what devices we want to start deciding on to look for our students when we go one-on-one. So I didn't see any reason for us to go down there without anybody there. So.
I know I can't be here on June 12th, so as long as I guess everybody else can.
I should be, yeah. I'm out of the country from the 29th to the 9th, I believe, so.
I'm
Where
out
you go?
of town for work.
I'll be in Mexico at that same time.
The other thing is, we're entering the you know, the one thing that I didn't tell you, they did back up, was it 45 days, teacher bargaining, instead of August 1st, it backed up to the count day, whatever, it's the September 15th, 17th, something, it's right there. And so that process will back up. My evaluation process is June, July, and August, and bargaining's backed up. So all that's changed this summer a little bit, so this got us. And we're getting ready to start the 2018 budget, so feel good about that. That's all I have.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
Don't you think the medical building looks good?
I think the
It
medical
does
building
look
is
good.
really good.
Yep. Once they get that road paved off, and it's gonna look real
Great
Mm-hmm.
nice
progress.
out there.
Great progress.
So looking for a motion. Oh, go ahead.
We got any preschool numbers yet? Do we know where we're at for preschool? Is it way too early on that?
No, they're beginning to take that, but I can't remember that packet, I haven't looked at that packet. There is a deadline to be guaranteed that you're in, because at some point we'll say, you know, do we need to hire another teacher or not? So we have to have, that deadline's not anywhere near, but they are taking those applications.
Okay. A motion to adjourn.
Motion
Is that
to
what you're
adjourn.
looking for?
Yep. A second?
I'll second.